Unless you're living under a rock, you probably know about Black Myth Wukong. It's absolutely killing it and I'm loving this video game. The game mechanics, the fluidity of the bosses, the leveling up system, the skill tree, everything is looking amazing in the video game. But today we're gonna talk about how playing this video game has helped me code more and better. Facing difficult bosses in the game, it gives me the exact same dopamine rush than when I beat a really hard problem in coding. You're faced with a tough challenge in a video game, you just have to keep trying. It doesn't matter how many times you have to try, you can't just stop playing that video game and never win to that boss ever again. You have to keep trying. I'm trying to apply that same concept when I'm solving a really difficult problem, and it feels exactly the same way for me. I get this massive dopamine rush every time that I spend days trying to beat a boss and I finally beat him, and then when I have the same situation with a coding problem that it takes me days if not weeks to actually solve, I feel so good about myself. It's really hard to go through that wall, and I don't know if I'll find out a solution for everything that I set myself to do, but at least those two situations I tend to relate them quite a lot precisely because of that. This leads me to my next point, and it's that no matter how hard any boss is, you only need to beat them once. It doesn't have to be that you beat that boss constantly, it doesn't have to be that you have to beat that boss without getting hit, you only have to beat them once in the story, and the same thing happens when coding. You only need to solve the problem once. Once that you find the solution, even if you don't super understand it because you use AI or whatever tool that you have available, you already solved that problem. You can reverse engineer it, understand it better, and the next time that you face a difficult problem that is kind of similar to this, you'll be able to tackle it much more efficiently. What doesn't work is watching thousands of tutorials of people that are clearly playing better video games than you or doing better code than you and thinking that you're going to be able to beat them or overcome that challenge the same way that they did. Everyone has their own path and you just can grab some experience from other people. In the end, actions are the ones that will take you to a different level, both in video games and in coding. Adding a new technology to my tech stack feels exactly the same that building up my skill tree in Black Myth Wukong. It's as simple as that. If I want to unlock a new ability on Black Myth Wukong, I just have to actually get the point towards that ability or do some type of mission that allows me to finally use that ability. Something similar happens with coding. There are some tools that you need to have some basic knowledge in order for you to use it, but you'll get better at using those abilities by actually practicing with them. It doesn't matter how many video tutorials you see about how to best take advantage of those abilities, if you still haven't practiced with them and you still haven't used them, you just don't know how to use them. Every time that you have a new tech stack that you want to implement, figure out a small project that you can build with that and actually go and build it. Don't watch all of these tutorials about how to actually do it the most efficient way. Just build the thing. Leveling up in the beginning is quite easy, but then it gets more difficult with time. Everyone knows this mini dopamine rush that you get when you bring that first hello world into the terminal, but that's not gonna last for too long. You actually have to build really complex solutions in the mid to long term. Obviously, you're going to get more smarter and more efficient with how you build the code, but at the same time, you will face bigger challenges. And it's about enjoying the journey and being consistent across all of those tough problems, because that's what's going to make you into a different programmer and make you level up both in life and in your technical skills. This is a bit more philosophical, still applicable to programming. In that opening scene where Wukong is facing all of these deities and these enemies, he has no hesitation that he's actually going to beat them and he's challenging them, despite that he clearly is probably going to get really beaten up if he actually fights them all at the same time. And that requires some level of determination that you have only when you're quite confident in your skills. People, when they actually become really good proficient programmers, they become quite biased and they start seeing the problems always without a solution because you're just way too close to the actual industry. Whereas if you're someone that's coming new to the industry, you're with a lot of new ideas, you want to innovate, you want to do something that's different, and that's an advantage, that's not a disadvantage. You have to be really determined into finding the solutions that you think that the industry needs and making them happen. If you don't see something in the current world that you think that it should exist, you can just create. You can't waver when you're building the solutions that you think that the world should have. You have to follow your own intuition and be determined, and even if you make a mistake, you still have to own that, take responsibility, and be better for the next time that you build something. Not everyone needs to play video games to become a great programmer, but I can assure you that if you have a healthy relationship with video games, it's going to pay off so much. Video games are one of the biggest industries in the world for a reason, and it's that everyone loves games. And if you can gamify your path to actually becoming a better programmer, and not only that, use video games as a way to zone out and zone off and get better ideas coming from that creative inspiration, it's going to make you so much better at coding, programming, getting better ideas, having fun in the journey. All of these things will be combined if you have a good relationship with video games and a great work ethic. I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.